Hello there, this is Alana Tuckey, lead faculty for Math 133, and I've received some questions about this problem in MyStatLab, which is 2.3.7. You can see it in the top right corner. And of course, where it shows up in your homework, nobody knows because that changes from semester to semester, assignment to assignment. So I'm going to click View an Example, and we're going to go through this example. So the accompanying relative frequency ogive represents the composite score on a standardized test for a high school graduating class. Say like, the ACTs or something like that. So we want to look at this graph, and it's kind of small. So what I did was I clicked on the little magnifying glass, and I'm going to make it larger by pressing maximize, or I could press medium if maximize is a little too big. And you can always move your cursor to the right side or the left side and kind of drag it to be the size that you want. At least left and right, that is. Okay, so we have this lovely ogive right here, and then it's going to ask us a whole series of questions about it. So to make things a little bit simpler, I put this in a different document so that we could look at it all at once. So here's the ogive right here. So this is the cumulative relative frequency on the vertical axis, and the composite score is on the horizontal axis. Now we're going to estimate the percentage of students who had a composite score of 36 or below. So you want to go to 36, which is your composite score. You want to go up to the graph, and you can see that dot right there. And then you kind of want to go horizontally over to the left on the vertical axis and take a rough guess of where you think that is. So if this is 70 and this is 80, then the halfway spot is that middle line, which is 75. That dot is above that middle line. And then it's a question of how far above. So it's not 75, that's the line. So it could be 76 or 77. I'd say either one of those. It's not 78 or 79. Those are too high. This is below the halfway point. So we could say either one of those numbers. So I would say about 77%, right? Because it seems like it's about the 77th percentile on the vertical axis. All right, that's the answer to that question. All right, what about the next one? What percentage of the students had a composite score of 42 or above? Ooh, above. That's interesting. So what we can do is we can figure out 42 and below, which is about 90%, roughly. So that would mean that it's about 10% above. So let's make a note of that. And there we go. That's the answer, 10%. All right, now, if we have 1,300,799 students from the class took that exam, how many students approximately had a score of 36 or below, 42 or above? So for this, you're going to take your percentages that you already found, and you're going to multiply them by how many students there are. So 36 or below would be, you take 0.77 and you multiply it by 1,300,799. So I'm going to use a calculator to do that. Clear this out. So 0.77 times 1,300,799. And it gets me 1001615. So that is what? 1,001,615. And I'll just round to the nearest student because we can't have a decimal of a student. So there's that answer. And then for 42 or above, we would take 0.1 and multiply it by 1,300,799. So it's the same number, but we'd multiply it by 0.10. So let me go back in here and change my 77 to a 10. And we get 130,079.9, which should probably be rounded to 130,080 because we want to round to the nearest whole number. There we have it. That many students. All right, last but not least, what is the approximate score at which half the students scored better and half scored worse? In other words, find the median. The middle score. We also call it the 50th percentile. You learn more about it in chapter 3, but it's the halfway score. right, at which half the students are above and half the students are below. So you're going to go to the cumulative relative frequency, and you want to hit 50 right here at this horizontal line. You go straight across until you reach the blue line right here. Now it's above that dot, it's not that dot, so 30 is not going to work, but if we go straight down, it looks like it's just to the right of 30. So it would help if we could figure out how much the tick marks are worth down here, the hash marks. So if this is 30 and this is 36, then halfway in between is 33. So that line right there is hitting about 31, 30.5, somewhere in there. About 30.5, roughly. I mean, we're just kind of guessing this a bit. Now, if they want a whole number, we could round to 30 or round to 31, depending on what we feel like they were looking for. But, all right, that's everything. I hope that helps with that problem. I'll see you back.